Hey, Pokedad Fan Club, it's me, Pokedad, and today we're doing another Deck Profile Monday. So I've actually got a special treat for you. I'm doing 2 episodes today. This is our second episode ever, and then I'll be doing our third episode ever, featuring 2 different decks. And the reason why I'm featuring 2 different decks today is because tomorrow on Tuesday Night Fights, we're going to take the 2 decks and battle against them. Me and my wife will be bringing you another live battle instead of an online battle. And so I'm going to do 2 deck profiles for you today. So we'll get started. The first one we're going to look at is Mega Sceptile EX. So we'll start off with a 3 Sceptile EX. Now again, I'm using proxies because Ancient Origins hasn't been released. However, I did go to pre-release, and I do have some of the real cards, and you'll see some of those as I play them. Put them down here. But anyway, Sceptile EX has 170 HP, grass type, has 2 attacks. The first one is Sleep Poison. It only does 10 damage. But then you flip a coin, and if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep and poison. So, ironically, it's called Sleep Poison. I should say, incidentally. The second attack, which is a pretty good attack, is called Unseen Claw. It only takes a grass energy and a colorless energy, hits for 60. But if there's a condition, special condition on your opponent's active, it will hit for an additional 70. So it can hit for 130 if your opponent is asleep, poisoned, paralyzed, or burned, all those good things, confused. So the first attack can kind of help the second attack get stronger. We also have another Pokemon, which I'll talk about in a little bit, how to make that attack stick without having to worry about a coin flip. Our main attacker in this deck is though Mega Sceptile. Mega Sceptile has 220 HP, and this card is, I personally think grass types have got a big boost in this set. I think it's going to make grass type decks, like, you're going to see them springing up all over, and you're going to see very many different variants. But Mega Sceptile in its own right is very strong, 220 HP. It has the attack Jagged, Saber, and it only hits for 100. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's not all that strong, but there's a lot of 2-hit KO Pokemon in the leagues, in play, in competitive play right now, that are strong. Look at Seismitoad. Seismitoad only hits for 30 to 50. Add Verbank in 80. But look how much success Seismitoad has, and it's not a one-hit KO machine at all. So Jagged Saber is looking at more like a 2-hit KO for the most part. May even struggle against other Megas, but we have a way to get some extra damage, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the cool thing about Jagged Saber is you can take 2 grass energies out of your hand and attach them to your bench Pokemon any way you want. So you can attach 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, and then they both heal all damage. So it's an energy accelerator and a healing mechanism rolled together. What you can actually do, though, is then next turn, if this Mega takes damage, you retreat it, bring up your other Mega, use Jagged Saber. You can retreat. The 2 energies are going to go in the discard pile. Use an energy retrieval, bring up the next Mega, Jagged Saber, and repeat the process and heal the first one. So you can just keep healing. It's called, and they call it the Sceptile Will, Mega Sceptile Will. So that's our main attacker. We also play 2 Lugia EX. Now Lugia is like the new Mewtwo. It's got Arrow Ball, which is going to be used a lot. And it hits for 20 times the number of energy both on you and on your opponent. So Jagged Saber works excellent with Lugia because you can keep putting more and more energies. You can just charge up Lugia with a ton of energies, just like Mewtwo used to get charged up, and then come in with Arrow Ball and start taking one-hit KOs if you can get enough energy on it. So he's going to be also another attacker in this deck. We also play double colorless in this deck just for Lugia. And the next one I'm getting ready to show you, and that is Shaman EX. We play 2 Shamans. Again, we might need to use Sky Return, so we have the double colorless just in case we need to use it for Shaman to hit for 30. But we mainly use it for a draw support, and the setup ability allows us to draw back up to 6 cards. We're also using one Hoopa EX. Hoopa, in this case, because we play so many EX Pokemon in this deck, we can use Hoopa, play him down to the bench, and then we can grab a Sceptile EX and a Mega Sceptile EX and a Shaman, or we can get 2 Sceptiles and a Lugia. We can get 3 of any of these, and if we have the Spirit League and Giant Plant Force, we can Mega Evolve into Mega Sceptile right away. All we need is an Ultra Ball to get Hoopa, and since we're going to be playing Ultra Ball in this deck, we can grab Hoopa and then get all of our supporting cast right off the bat. So that's the idea why we play one Hoopa. Now if he is prized, it makes things a little bit slower for us, but it's still a good deck that even if he's prized, you'll be fine. Alright, the next thing we play, I'm going to go ahead and clear these off, guys, and I'll show you. We don't have very many more Pokemon, but we play a 2-2 line of Spinarak and Ariados. Now, and these are from the Ancient Origins. I got these in pre-release. It's actually a common and an uncommon card. Spinarak, we really don't use much. Matter of fact, I don't even know what the attack is. String Shot has the potential to paralyze. We use Ariados not for attack either, but for the ability Poison Nest. And so Poison Nest allows you to poison both your active and your opponent's active, but if you're a grass type, you don't take any poison. So you can poison your opponent's active, and then that will help in 2 ways. It'll help for Sceptile EX's second attack, which hits for 60, but if there's a special condition, goes to 130. And it also helps Mega Sceptile put a little bit of extra damage, so if we're playing Mega versus Mega, Mega Sceptile has a chance to knock out two-shot the opposing Mega. If they take enough poison damage, they can get knocked out in 2 turns. So play 2 of those, and then we play 1 Virizion. Alright, and this is just I don't know how I feel about this card, guys. In fact, like I said at the beginning, there's so many variants with grass now. I mean, you could turn this into a Beautifly deck, so you could do Mega Sceptile with Beautifly. I mean, with Giant Plant Forest, the possibilities are endless. You could play Mega Sceptile with Sceptile, the baby Sceptile. Again, with Giant Plant Forest, you could get the Sceptiles and even have more energy acceleration going. So there's all sorts of ways you could go with this. But I threw in 1 Virizion. Now the one we do play a Hex Maniac, and I'll get to that in a little bit. The only thing that concerns me about this deck is if we play against Beautifly. If we play against Lugia, we can still just use Sceptile EX, and I think he'll out-hit the Giratina. If we play against Giratina, which has the ability where Megas can't hurt it, we can still play Sceptile EX or Lugia EX and take out Giratina. If we play Pyroar, we can use Mega Sceptile and take out Pyroar. The other safeguarders are pretty much gone. Aegislash doesn't bother me. because we're using a lot of grass energy, so we won't need the special energy. But Beautifly concerns me because no Mega Pokemon can hurt Beautifly. So we've got the Virizion, but I don't think one Virizion is going to stop Beautifly, and I know Spinarak and Ariados aren't going to either. So we do have to play a Hex Maniac to get around the Beautifly, and we can also Lysander around it. So anyway, guys, Virizion has for one grass type has Rescue, which allows you to search 2 Pokemon from your discard pile and put it into your hand. And then the other one is Prize Count. It does 40 damage for 2 grass, but if you're down on prizes, it does an additional 80, so it would hit for 120. So that's a possibility that could help you with Beautifly. Alright, so that's the Pokemon line, guys. Let's move right along into our item cards. And I'll kind of go a little bit quicker because most of these you already know. We're going to play 3 Sceptile Spirit Links. Obviously, it just makes sense since we're using the Mega. We're playing 3 Ultra Balls. This allows us to discard 2 energies, or 2 cards, and grab whatever Pokemon we want. We can use it to grab Hoopa, so that's useful. I play 1 Evosoda. That just helps get Mega Sceptile or Ariados when we need it. We play 2 Trainer's Mails. Since we're playing so many support cards and trainer cards in general, Trainer's Mail gives us a little more flexibility to find what we're looking for. Alright, we play 1 Startling Megaphone. That just disrupts your opponent's tool cards, so we can get rid of all their tool cards. We play 1 Escape Rope and 1 Switch, because nobody in this deck really has free retreat, and the retreat cost can be kind of high. Sometimes it can be useful to retreat and pay the retreat cost, then we can energy retrieval it back. But we also want to have a few places where we can get out of a jam if we need to. So Escape Rope and Switch help us with that. I play 1 Professor's Letter to help us get the grass energy when we need it. And then I play 2 energy retrieval cards. Alright, energy retrieval will allow us to grab 2 energies that are in the discard pile, 2 basics, and bring them back to our hand. And then finally for the item cards, I also play 3 VS Seeker so we can reuse the supporter cards we have. Alright, so that's pretty much all of our items. We'll move right into our supporter line now. Alright, so obviously we're going to play 4 Sycamores. That just discard your hand and draw 7 cards. It helps you from getting stuck. Now again, you could play, the debate rages already, what's better, Shauna or Birch? It doesn't matter to me which one you play. Shauna is going to be more consistent, but Birch is going to net you on average more cards. So if you feel like playing risky, go with Birch. If you're more conservative, go with Shauna. In this deck, I just decided to go a little more conservative, so we're playing 3 Shaunas. Playing 2 Lysander. Lysander is very important. I used to play only 1 in the deck, and then I realized how valuable Lysander is. In some cases, it doesn't hurt to play 3. Since we're playing 3 VS Seekers, though, that gives us a chance of using possibly 5 Lysanders theoretically. And so, anyway, so we just play the 2 Lysander. Lysander forces a bench Pokemon of your opponent up to the active. So if they've retreated and you need to knock something out, or you want to take 2 prizes on an EX, you can bring an EX and knock it out. So that's what Lysander does. We play 1 Ace Trainer. So it's kind of like a draw support, but only if you get behind in the game. It's like the weak version of N. N is going to allowed you to draw as many cards as you had prizes left. This one is, if you have more prizes than your opponent, you can draw 6 cards and your opponent draws 3. Of course, you have to shuffle, both of you shuffle your hand into your deck and then make those draws. So 1 ace trainer, and so that's our supporter line. So we've got 7 draw support, and I guess you could call that a draw support. Lysander, oh, and I forgot, I'm sorry, Hex Maniac. And so we play 1 Hex Maniac. That shuts off abilities for 1 turn. So you can shut off walls like Aegislash, Beautifly. So we could use this against Beautifly if we needed to. Anyway, so that's there. It also shut off other abilities like bats can't bite you, Metal Links, Aromatisse Fairy Transfer, so it can shut off all those things. Actually, that reminds me of something that I need to talk about, and I forgot to. Let's go back just quickly to Mega Sceptile. Mega Sceptile has the ancient trait Theta Stop, and so Mega Sceptile can't be anything that has abilities that affects Mega Sceptile. They're no use. So bats, you can't use the Zubat, Crobat line to start attacking, start hurting Mega Sceptile. Malamar can't put Mega Sceptile to sleep. So anything with an ability that affects Mega Sceptile does not work because of the Theta Stop ancient trait. I just thought I'd mention that. I forgot about that. Alright, so we went over supporters. Let's talk about energy. So we play 8 grass energies and 4 double colorless. So we have 12 energies here. So, and you might be able to reduce that, but you really want to have a lot of grass. You might be able to reduce the double colorless if you wanted to. And then finally, the last thing we have to talk about is the stadium. And we play 3 of the Forest of Giant Plants. Now, I know I used to call this Giant Plant Forest because that's how it was translated from Japanese, but I guess they wanted to make the card a little more, I don't know, difficult to pronounce is all I can think of. Forest of Giant Plants. And so this allows you all your grass types to evolve right off the bat. So if you can get a Forest of Giant Plants on turn 1, you can evolve to Mega Sceptile turn 1. You can evolve to Ariados turn 1, assuming that you have those cards in your hand. One thing I should tell you, and I have looked at the rules, you cannot rare candy into a stage 2 on the first turn with Forest of Giant Plants. You have to go through the evolution line if you're going to do that. And you cannot Evosoda on your first turn. You could, however, Wally turn 1 to get the stage 1, and then if you have the stage 2 in your hand, then you could evolve to stage 2 with Wally. But we're not playing Wally in this deck because we don't really have any stage 2s. So anyway, guys, I just thought I'd mention that, even though it doesn't really apply to this deck. Anyway, guys, so that is the Mega Sceptile deck. We'll be featuring that on Tuesday Night Fights tomorrow, so make sure you keep an eye out for that video. And also, I'm going to do another deck profile right after I finish this one, and it's going to be the new Machamp EX. I'm going to tell you it's a really strong deck, and I'll go ahead and tease you a little bit. That's coming up right now. Anyway, Pokedad Fan Clubs, thanks for all your support. Hit subscribe if you like. Hit like if you want also. And we will talk to you later. This is Pokedad signing out.